This week we're going to focus on weather and crop progress trends in Brazil. We're also going to take a look at updated export trends here in the U.S. We're going to wrap things up with a long-term review of November soybean futures. Hi, this is Brian Bastine with Advanced Trading. Let's talk about the soybean market. We're moving into the latter part of January here, and of course it's the middle of winter in the United States. However, in the southern hemisphere, it's the middle of summer. So we're going to turn our attention to Brazil, where that soybean crop is harvested in the north and is still in the vegetative stage as we move further south. Let's take a look at those beans are produced in Brazil. Again, a very large range of crop progress here in Brazil. Mato Grosso in the far north there is harvesting beans, as we'll see in a second. However, they're actually still planting beans further to the east in Mato Piba, specifically looking at Bahia, for example. And of course, in the far south, Rio Grande do Sul, crops are much more immature at this point, looking at the vegetative to early blooming period. Let's take a look now at planting progress in Brazil. We're looking at here at approaching 100%. The one state that stands out at this moment, though, is Maranhão, looking at about 73%. Again, that's part of that Mato Piba area in the northeast there. But other areas you can see there are pretty much done planting. I want to focus just briefly in that lower left-hand corner. 53%, approaching 54% of the beans in Brazil are now filling pods. So again, picture August in the Midwest here. We're still making this crop. And now the early harvest results in Mato Grosso are very good. But as you move further south, the crop is still being made. So weather is still important over the next 30 to 45 days, particularly for that later planted crop. Let's now take a look at harvest progress in Brazil. Again, Mato Grosso, approaching 7% harvested here. And as January winds down, not much progress elsewhere, a little bit in Paraná, but elsewhere very little harvest. That'll increase noticeably, though, as you get into February. The key update from USDA last week, however, was a 3 million ton increase in the production estimate from 175 to 178, and 178 million tons is a record for Brazil. That's about 6.5 billion bushel. By comparison, the U.S. last fall produced about 4.3 billion bushel. Let's shift gears now and focus on weather trends in Brazil. Our slides this week, as usual, are courtesy of T-Storm Weather. We're starting out here looking at the next 5 to 10 days. Again, harvesting up in Mato Grosso, but vegetative state further south. Organized thunderstorms are forecast up in Mato Grosso, which could slow harvest a bit there in that region. But further south, not much rain over the near term here. Let's look at the next 14 days. Next 14 days is a bit more normal and looking north. But as you move further south here, you can see not much rain across those areas. So it's something to be aware of here moving in the end of January, early February. Let's shift gears now and look at export trends here in the U.S. Bean exports for 25-26 through mid-January are 40% lower than last year. Of course, the key message here as we highlight is the exports to China for 25-26 are down 87% compared to the 5-year average. The good news is it does look like China has met their commitment to purchase 12 million tons and ship 12 million tons of U.S. beans this crop year. Let's wrap things up this week looking at trends in November beans. And November beans, as we tape here on Wednesday this week, are trading at $10.75 a bushel. Notice we're approaching that crop insurance base period there of February. But look at that potential price volatility over the next 6 to 9 months all the way into harvest. That's why we strongly encourage you to work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to continue to manage price movement and avoid price prediction. Now, if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact us at 309-664-2300. We'll put you in contact with our risk management consultants who'll be happy to visit with you at your convenience. And remember, we upload every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss an update. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.